right, so like we like to do, we're gonna get right into it here. We are joined by yet another guest. Gus, how you doing, by the way?
I'm doing wonderful, Dave.
I feel like I just saw you.
That's because we see each other almost on a daily basis.
That's starting to get a little bit ridiculous, actually.
a little bit. But you know what? When we bring it, so much value to the audience, I think it's okay. Let's put it that way.
I tend to agree. So speaking of value, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get right into it like we like to do, right?
Let's do it.
Enough of the dilly dallying here. We are joined today by Jeremy Yansen. I've known Jeremy for, I don't know, 6 years,
Going on
right?
5, 6 years,
we were in a B&I group together.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy, for those of you who don't know, which is probably most of you watching, is affiliated with AFLAC, right? And I'm really excited to talk about this today because I think that what he does, what you do, and I should talk to you like you're here, right?
I am here. I am physically here.
Yep.
What you
Pandemic rules are over. Okay.
For now, right? For
Almost.
Almost, all right. I think that what you do is we talk about providing value, right? That's what you just said, right? And I think that what you do has the tendency and the potential to provide people with so much value, right? So before we get into what you do specifically, tell us a little bit about you and how you got there and what got you to where you are today.
All right. So I turned 33 on Monday.
Boom! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Yeah, March 28th. I'm big 3-3, so I'm happy about that.
There you
go.
But for my entire life, I've been in some type of sales. When I was a kid, it was lemonade stand.
Nice.
I was that kid on the side of the road with the lemonade stand.
Love it.
And then
Back then, you could do it without a permit, right?
Exactly, without a permit. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was going around to the neighborhood with my lawnmower, and everybody's lawn. But in the winter, it was shoveling snow. So that was my thing, and I had so much fun doing it. I had delegated to my friends. We had a whole operation at 10 years old.
That's
Love
cool.
it.
It was crazy. It was so much fun. In high school, it was the same thing. I was in some type of sales, right? I was at one point in time, I was doing, I was working with my dad, construction, but I would go and knock on people's doors. Hey, we see that your railing is falling down. We do this X, Y, and Z. How can we help you bring it up to code? Do whatever we need to do. So I was that guy. And in college, once again, sales. I did retail for a little bit. I even started to dabble in real estate, but then life, school. So that was the whole thing.
These things happen, right?
After that, went back to construction. So I was foreman. So I went back to construction.
Nice.
Got hurt. And then I realized, sales has always been something I've been good at. So I decided to get into insurance sales. And so here I am today.
Interesting.
I've been doing this since 2015. Been promoted through. And I'm now one of the district managers is what it's called.
Yeah.
On my own team, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I am where I am today.
So at the core of it, what is it that you do, right? What is your company? What is it that you provide?
So when people see the commercials, right, they see the duck. Right? Everybody knows the duck. Everybody knows and loves the duck. Exactly. Right? Everybody knows it. But what they don't know is that, so we're not health insurance, right? I always tell people that health insurance, that's a whole other landscape.
For sure.
That would take 4 hours of conversation. We're considered, I guess you could call it gap insurance is the best way to look at it. There for people when things are going on. You've seen the commercials when it's somebody with crutches, they're out of work or whatever, and then the duck hands them money. For lack of a better
Right?
For lack of a better phrase, that's what we do. When people have medical emergencies and they have other things going on, we make sure that we give them money so that they can continue the way of life they're used to when something's going on. I always say the human body's held together with duct tape and spit. So we need to have some type of finances coming back when one of those things go south.
So is it almost like a disability type of thing, or?
Yeah, disability is one of the things we do, but then there's
okay.
also indemnity-based, specific injury, cancer, that kind of stuff, programs that people can get. So the value that we have for people is one of the most annoying things when you're hurt or sick is having to deal with the finances, having to deal with the bills, all that kind of stuff. Nobody likes financial stress. We've all been in that situation when, you look in your bank account, you're like 32 cents. Okay. What am I going to do with this?
Right.
It's even worse if you're sick and something like that is going on, because then you know that your medical bills are going to be piling up and this hospital's calling you, this doctor's calling you, all that kind of stuff. So what we do is we give people money so that they can alleviate that stress, alleviate that pressure, because we want you to focus on getting better, getting healthy. It's really cool for me because, yes, I am in sales, I am selling, but when I get the calls from people that say, hey, thank you so much for getting this taken care of, it does warm my heart. It makes me feel good that I was able to help somebody in some way, shape, or form.
That's what it's all about, man. You know, it's interesting. When you were talking about, you were in construction, you were knocking on doors, right? The phrase that came out of your mouth, and I don't know how many people realize it, but I pick up on it every time I hear it. How can I help you? What can I do to help you, right? And that seems to be your MO, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you say, yes, I'm in sales. First of all, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Sales is the oldest profession. Yeah, man.
It really is.
And there's so much opportunity in sales, so there's nothing wrong with that. But on top of that, you seem to come at it from the right angle, right? Which is, how can I help? And I just think that's awesome.
Absolutely. Awesome. I mean, I think we had an episode where we discussed sleazy salespeople and what they do and how
we
they
did.
do
That's
things
right.
and stuff like that with the slick
Yeah.
back hair and all that.
Yeah.
But, coming at it from this angle, makes such a huge difference. So let's talk about how AFLAC can help homeowners, because I think the majority of the people, myself included, would think, you can get an AFLAC plan through their corporate and stuff like that through a company.
Yeah.
Is that true, or can me as a homeowner can just go and get a policy with AFLAC?
Yeah, definitely. So we always suggest through your company, because it's a little bit easier. But definitely individuals can come to me, ask what works best. The biggest thing with insurance is it's risk, aversion. You're putting the risk on something else. With AFLAC, it's the same thing. We try to make sure that whatever money people get, they use it to their benefit. The money you get is for them to do whatever they see best. If somebody is out of work or whatever it might be, the first bill you're going to pay is your mortgage.
Yeah.
That is one of the first bills you're going to take care of.
Yeah,
sure.
And even if we don't cover the whole thing, we're going to give you something that you can put towards it. So I always suggest we have our regular bills, and then we have our life bills, and we want to protect those life bills. We want to nobody likes getting a call from a debt collector or you're 30 days late, whatever. Nobody likes those calls.
Crank caller.
Or something, exactly. So nobody likes those calls. So I always say what works best for you so that you don't have to worry about those things.
Yeah.
I have people who call me for different things, major diseases, cancer, whatever it might be. I paid out one too many life insurance claims for different things. Nobody likes getting those calls, but 2 months down the road, when somebody calls me back and says, hey, you know what? I still have my car, still have my house, X, Y, and Z. It does make me feel good because we were there for them when things were going on.
That's what it's all about.
That's legitimately what it's all about.
So take us through the process a little bit, right? Somebody's interested in pursuing something with you, right? And I'm sure you guys offer so many different types of products, right? In terms of these gap coverages, if you will. But take us through a little bit of that process, right? How does it work, kind of from start to finish if somebody were to do that?
So the first thing I always do is I am a consultant at the base, very foremost of it. I'm a consultant. What are your needs? What does your family history look like? What kind of things are you worried about? Those are the very first things that I talk about with anybody, because I have to pry a little bit to really understand what's going on so I can refer the best things that might work for you. There's people who say, I don't need anything. I'm the healthiest person on the face of the planet. Okay, but have you ever seen some of the sidewalks in D.C.?
You're going to break that ankle
exactly.
real fast.
Like
right?
anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that anything can happen. So I go through that with them. The very first thing is, like I said, as a consultant, what do you need?
Right.
What works best for your family? And then from there on out, it's picking the programs that work best for them that they can implement into their daily life. For instance, one of our things is, I call it the family planning. So you've had a lot of people who buy a house, right? They'll buy a house.
That's my job, man. That's my job.
They'll buy a house, but you know that they've said that like, hey, as soon as we get this, we're going to start a family.
It's so funny, right? I was just thinking the natural order, right, is get married, buy a house, have a kid, right? Like that's what you see as normal.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So with the same thing, so I'll ask somebody, hey, what's the next 5 years looking like for you? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, we're planning on having a kid, or we're planning on buying a house, we're planning on doing this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, this is going to work best for you. This is going to protect your income if you're out of work. This is going to give you money if you have a tiny human. That's what I call them. Right. Any one of those things. So once again, it's being a consultant and referring what's best for them.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, because of the landscape of insurance in the U.S., there is a lot of things. Yes, it does sometimes get annoying to have to pay for insurance, but you should always look at what your options can be for whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's not just on the health side of things. Obviously, homeowners insurance and there's even insurance to protect construction builds that are done. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know exactly what it's called, but there's something like that. I always suggest that people look at all their options because you need to protect all of the things and money that you're investing in. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously it helps individuals. I assume it helps couples, it helps families, it helps kids.
Yeah.
Right. So I think let's get into the details a little bit. Mm-hmm. How does it help, a kid, for instance? What benefits do they get?
So I'm going to use myself as an example first off. So I don't know. I screwed up my ankle.
Ooh.
So you did.
I screwed up my ankle.
So you did.
Surprisingly enough, walking and the sidewalk, just me and the sidewalk did not agree.
Was it in D.C.?
No, it was.
He said it, right? He said it earlier, right?
It was not, but I was walking on the sidewalk, screwed up my ankle. Might be fractured, not sure, but they put me in an air cast. So pretty much the way that it's going to work is I am going to get money back for being hurt. Yes, I can still walk around, but it's the inconvenience of having to walk around and having to deal with this, how everything starts. Mm-hmm. For kids, it's the same way. Kids will be kids.
For sure.
I am about to be 33, and my parents still...
And you're still a kid.
I'm still a kid. Like, I still do stupid things.
It's all right. I'm 40, and I do too.
It's just the natural order of things. Yeah. That's how it works.
It never stops.
But it's nice for kids because... say one of your kids get hurt or something like that, right? They're young. The first thing you're thinking is, I need to take them to the doctor and make sure they're okay.
Right.
That might mean taking time off of work. That might mean rushing out in the middle of the night and not being able to go to work the next day. Yep. Whatever it is, there's some type of lost finances when you have to go to the doctor in some way, shape, or form, whether it's copay or whatever it is. Once that happens, I always tell people, give me a call, let me know what's going on. From there on out, this is the paperwork. Let's track the paperwork. Let's get everything put in. Mm-hmm. Within a week or so, like that, you're going to get some type of money back. It's you can consider it a reimbursement for inconvenience on the smaller side. On the larger side, you're paying your bills.
Sure.
So that's the basis and the trajectory of how everything works.
I would assume it works the same way for adults.
Yeah, same way for adults. Same exact thing. For us, we probably don't go to the doctor right away when something is going on.
Try to toughen up for a little bit.
Like, I'm good.
Walk it off. Walk it off.
Yep.
But the same thing. You go to the doctor, pay for work, get paid. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, you have full access to me. That's one of the biggest things in client relations. It's making sure that the people who trust you have access to you. And we've all heard from different we've all heard about different salespeople where they are just terrible, just downright terrible, because one, they don't answer the phone. They're really slick with their words, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not even that.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
We've all bought a car when that salesperson was on their P's and Q's. They were on it, But then you turn around to call them back a week later after nothing.
Okay.
And they give all of us a very bad name.
Yep.
So I have tried to break that cycle. 100%. Some day I started to try to break that cycle. Is like, I am not your average sales guy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I actually have clients who invited me to like their weddings and everything like that. They're like, you're not like anybody else we've ever met. So I'm like, okay, cool.
That's awesome.
So that's one of the things.
I don't disagree with that one bit. I actually had a client one time give me a key to his house because he found out I had kids and we didn't have a pool in the backyard. So he said, Gus, you know what? Here's a key to my house. I have a pool in my backyard. You bring the kids whenever you want.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Legit, no joke. Yeah. It was,
something.
they were from Haiti.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they made their spicy sauce. They're like in huge containers. It was amazing.
And that's awesome. That. I mean, that spicy sauce is spicy.
Oh yeah,
that's like.
I mean,
the real
it's
deal.
no joke.
Yeah,
it is the real deal.
Yeah.
What we consider spicy versus what everybody else.
Oh yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, you know, salespeople don't necessarily need to have that bad rep that they do. You know what I mean? A lot of us, I can't even say most because I know a lot of sleazy salespeople. A lot of us salespeople are there to genuinely help people.
Look, I think at the end of the day, man, there's always going to be that group of people that, you know, we've all heard the term commission breath, right?
Yep.
There's going to be that group of people that either can't or won't take the time and have the patience. We always talk about patience to build their business and do things the right way. And unfortunately, those are the people that kind of, you know, between them and you see all that stuff in movies and TV shows, right? Those are the references that people have, right? And so it almost makes using the word salesman, like it's almost like that's a bad word.
It's an insult.
Yeah. And it's not, right?
It's not.
And I think that people like you, for example, show that, right? Because you show that you are in sales, but you use the word consultant, right? And there's a difference, right? When you're there to help somebody, there's nothing wrong with getting rewarded for doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? That's your job. It's how you put food on your table, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you go about it in such a way that people feel like they're being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
That's where the
100%. And you know, and again, not to get too off topic, the more we talk about this, the more I think about, you know, I oftentimes don't buy stuff or don't have an opportunity to buy things because there's nobody to sell them to me. I mean, how ridiculous is this? I mean, seriously, right?
That's too funny.
I mean, if you think about it, like, you know, especially large purchases and stuff like that, right? I've put a lot of things on hold because I haven't found the right consultant to really tell me all about this, all the features and benefits, and why I should go ahead and invest in such a thing. Whatever the case, maybe we're talking about camcorders, you know, a few minutes ago.
You bought a car from a vending machine, man.
I did,
right? Like I did. Mean, so
but that's about convenience, right?
Yeah.
But I already knew. I already did my research on the car. I had already consulted with somebody. Right? So, but for, you know, a lot of things where you need just more information, and again, we're talking about sales all of a sudden, you know, if you guys know Zig Ziglar, I'm sure you do, and I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's an old man. He's now no longer with us, unfortunately. But he sold what they called them pot back in the day, pots and pans, cookware.
Yeah.
Right? He went door to door. He was a door to door salesman, and he sold pots and pans. And he taught in every seminar he had. He talked so much about, you know, people want to buy, they just can't find people to sell things to them, and this just resonated so much with me. So that's where this whole thing came from.
I like it.
Anyways, I feel like a lot of people don't know enough about what you do and all the products that you provide. And so I think having your mindset as a consultant and more of, you know, people like Jeremy, which is very hard to find. But
appreciate that.
I think the world needs this. Yeah. You know? But anyways, again, back to Jeremy. Jeremy, you've been with AFLAC for quite some time.
Yeah.
You obviously love what you do. I can see your passion. What kind of satisfaction do you get out of it?
I think it goes back to getting that phone call from somebody saying you've helped me in their, you know, sometimes their lowest times. I've had calls where, unfortunately, on the other line, the person told me that this person passed away or this whatever's going on, and to be able to turn around and tell them, hey, I'm going to take it from here to relieve the stress that you're going through. And then a month down the line, they get a check for tens of thousands of dollars. You know,
can I get one of those?
I'll I got you. I just got to call,
Yeah, let's make a call.
Just make a call real quick.
That's fine.
Sign it over to you.
That's
You're good.
Right.
No, but being able to provide that to people
Yeah.
and hear the relief, how relieved they are after they get it. Like, yes, so much was going on and this really helped. That does a lot for me. There's sometimes funny things on this. I've gotten calls where somebody said, you know what? I'm in the ER. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? So I was getting up for a midnight snack, tripped over the cat and hit my head on the table, but I'm good. Like those, like they're laughing. They're like,
Right.
I can't believe
Did
this
they get
actually.
their snack? Did they?
I have no idea.
Because the event is so funny.
Yeah, right.
But, it's very interesting to hear those types of things. They're laughing about it. They're like, I can't believe this even happened.
Yeah.
But still being able to provide some type of help to them, even if it's a couple $100 or whatever
Right,
it might
right,
be. They're still like, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to try not to, I'm not going to get up for a midnight snack next time.
Right.
Like those types of things still carry me through my day. It does. So those are my drives. My drive also is my wife. I'll say that to anybody. My wife is my drive for everything. She's also like my biggest supporter in a very cynical way, which is weird.
I love it.
I hope she doesn't hear this, but like
Sending
sure
this
she will.
direct to her. It's going right to her.
Yeah.
there are times when I've doubted myself, and she's like, "Well, that's stupid. You know what you're doing. Just go ahead and do it."
Right.
So it's very cynical, but I'm like, "No, you're right. I need to just go ahead and do what I'm doing."
Yeah.
But she's been my biggest supporter, and she is my drive also because we've had things going on, and personally, and being able to once again have that financial backing when things happen has been a huge help to us as well.
Yeah.
Is there? Let me ask you this: I've heard you mention a couple of times something happens, the person gets paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a blanket policy, or are there different levels? Is it struck? I mean, how is it structured?
So it's structured that, for instance, one of our ones covers injuries, right? It's any injury, but the injuries can vary. There's a base level that people get, and then depending on what happens because of that injury, whether it's a break or they need some type of crutches or wheelchair, there's other add-ons that come along with it. But there is a base level,
Yeah.
it's called indemnity. So per incident that happens. Of course, like we have our disability and stuff, that's income protection. Disability at the forefront. Doesn't matter what company it is with, it's income, protection. We all work because we need to, not necessarily because we want to.
Right.
So having that income protection is huge for a lot of people. The past 2 years, COVID, been crazy. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of people who have had to use that because they're out for, at the beginning, they are out standard 14 days. It's like 5 days or whatever like that. But I've had people who were out for the 14 days. I've even had people who were out for 6 months.
Wow.
And those calls that I get from them, they weren't sure they were going to wake up. Those are the kind of calls that I've been getting the past 2 years. And when they say, "Hey, I just got a check for $68,000.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that."
Is that from AFLAC?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, from all of the policies and everything. She actually gave me full. She said I can use her story whenever. So she had COVID. She had a lot of different of our policies, and collectively through all of them, and everything that she had going on, it was like $68,000 that she got.
And she was out of work and out of commission basically for how long?
6 months.
That's a lot of money for 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
good for her, obviously. I'm
Yeah,
happy for
definitely.
Let's put that into perspective for people,
Right.
right? $68,000 over 6 months, right? Obviously, this individual had a premium that she was paying.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
What is that premium, right?
It depends on the person, how old they are, but I mean, it can range. If we're doing it on like if it goes through your company or whatever it might be, $100 or something. I'm just throwing it random, but
A month, every 2 weeks?
if they're biweekly,
Okay.
so like $200 a month or something like that. It does range. She has used us over the years, so she has a lot of our stuff. She has like top tier of everything.
She was just waiting for that payout,
She
huh?
was exactly. So she was waiting for it, but
Yeah.
I mean, it varies.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely varies.
But but typically, what's the average premium for a
Average
plan?
premium I see for like our base level stuff,
Yeah.
probably $50 a paycheck.
Because I was gonna say, I think $100 is okay paycheck. So this is biweekly, so still about $100.
It's about 100.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah.
I could tell you, man, I spent $100 a month on dumber crap than insurance, right?
I'm telling you.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
and to you know, unfortunately, she got sick, and hopefully
That's
she's
the
doing
thing.
better now,
Oh,
right?
yeah, she's doing a lot better.
You know, she went through all this. The plus side is she got a check for 68 grand, right? I mean,
So
that's
a little over 10 grand a month.
there. I mean, there are
That's
some
a
people
nice
they
payday.
don't get that in a year, right?
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
So
That's,
it was a huge help for her.
yeah, for sure.
Because she knew that, so she was out for the 6 months. This is probably 2 or 3 months in when we actually got all the paperwork and everything from the doctors and hospitals. And I tell people that also, like, I'm here for you. I'll yell at the people that I work for. I'll yell at the doctors, hospitals, everybody to make sure that you're taken care of.
Get it done.
That's what I'm here for, is to make sure you're taken care of.
That's what it is.
It's
Like,
about
you
3
know,
months in.
that's awesome. A lot of times, like, you know, you hear about companies giving bad service. In all reality, it's that individual that they're dealing with that's giving the bad
Yeah,
service.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
right.
You know what I mean? And it's not, I don't know if it's fair to the company because they're allowing that individual to represent them. But there's a lot to be said about working with somebody like you and myself with what we do and the amount of value we'll bring to the table and how much we go above and beyond to get things done.
But I'll tell you though, look, at the end of the day, I'd be willing to bet there are people in your organization that are, for lack of better terms, dog shit, right? I mean, they're
yeah,
probably
definitely.
no good.
Watch your mouth over there.
I've met some of them.
Guy, right? and the same thing in real estate, and the same thing in home improvement.
Dude,
so to your point, right?
We are in the most twisted industry of all time.
So to your point, right? You're 100% right. It's not the company, right? I mean, look, if the company allows that stuff to go on, there's something to that, right? But it's the individual representing that company that's going to make the difference, right?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
And there would be just based on what I know about you and the way that you handle your business, and it sounds like the way that you take care of your folks, man. There would be no reason, you know, AFLAC is X, Y, and Z. Well, maybe you have that perception, but if you talk to Jeremy, right?
Exactly.
Have you talked to Jeremy?
Yeah, right.
You know? So
Right.
I don't know.
That's
awesome.
honestly one of the things that the first thing I do when I meet with an individual or an owner of a business or a president of a company or whatever is I try and let them know I'm a person first. I have been through a lot of the things you've been through, and we're just two people talking at this point in time. If things don't go this way or that way, we're still cool, no matter what, you know. So that's the first thing that I do, and then what services can I provide? Right. It's a conversation first. Hey, you know, do you have kids? Do you like to do this? Me too. You know, we're the same person. You know what I mean? I talk about those things first so that people know, hey, I am just like you.
Yep.
This just happens to be my occupation.
100%. I love that.
You have a need for that service, right? I happen to be the individual that can provide it to you. And by the way, I'm going to give you really damn good service while we're doing it.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's that's if we all knew everything, you wouldn't need home improvement, real estate, insurance. You you just do it on your own.
Yeah.
Everybody's a specialist in something, and sometimes, unfortunately, there are a lot of bad eggs in each one of those.
Sure.
And it's our job to weed those out and provide the great service.
But I also think that people, I feel like I'm echoing here. Sorry, guys. I think that people in general, right, when you're talking about insurance, when you're talking about home improvement, when you're talking about buying or selling a house, right, they're already going into it a little bit on edge just because of what that subject happens to be, right? Yeah. When you're talking about, you know, what you do, I mean, you're basically saying, hey, by the way, something bad's going to happen to you. You want to get paid for it, right? When they're talking to you, they're talking about dropping tens of thousands, sometimes more on a project, hundreds of thousands on buying or selling a home, right? These are life-changing decisions. And I think that people go into those naturally on edge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. 100%. And so it's up to you to, I feel like we got
bring
back
the
into
guards down.
I feel like we got back into the sales conversation and less about the AFLAC, but this is good. I think it's up to people like you to put on that image, to give off that to have that talk and to take that edge off, right? It's up to people like you and you
deliver the bad news correctly.
But that's just it, right? And you have to do it in such a way where you can build a rapport with that person, because, all right, yeah, we may be talking about something that's really stressful and really frustrating sometimes, or maybe is not like the happiest of subjects all the time, but we can do it in such a way to where hopefully at the end of it, you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, can be comfortable and satisfied with the decisions that you've made.
Definitely.
You know? So,
100%. All right. On that, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. I mean, it's a conversation that we have in person. So if you're looking for me, come find me.
Speaking of which,
so with that, go ahead.
How can people find you?
Well, one, you can both of these guys have my number, my email, all that.
Do you
kind
mind
of stuff.
sharing it?
So you can use my personal email, Jeremy_Yansen@outlook.com. That is one way to get a hold of me.
YANSEN.
That is correct. Other than that, my phone number, I'm just put my cell number out there, 570-236-2505. I work with individuals, businesses. I'm here, like I said, just as a consultant to see, whatever questions you might have, hopefully I can answer for you. That's what I want to be there for.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Us. Yeah, absolutely. With that, I'm sure you guys have many other questions for Jeremy, and if you have any for Dave or myself, don't hesitate, obviously, to leave them down in the comments below. We're also always available via email, Gus at Improve Remodeling, and you,
David at TriCountyMDHometeam.com.
Yeah. That said, thank you guys for watching, being with us today, and we will see you on the next one.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.